get started, I have to tell y'all a story about what happened while I was watching the ritual.
Oh no.
Yeah, set the scene. I'm laying on my bed, propped up with my laptop on my lap, watching the movie. Well, at the same time, when that wall scene happens, the warning for my antivirus running on my computer popped up on my screen, made me jump. I went over the edge of the bed, almost
Oh,
landing on my cat's star,
oh,
setting her off, which set off my dog Honey barking, which set off my cat Ripley running across my other dog and her going off the edge of the bed. It was an event.
oh no.
So it had an
Oh,
impact,
did
is
everyone
what you're
ended up
saying.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
everybody's fine.
incredible.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is funny. Oh yeah, that's I mean, even just during the research for this film, there were moments where I was freaking myself out because I would hear a door shut and I was definitely more on edge during the shooting, during shooting, during research, during writing, because it is a dark subject matter for sure.
Definitely. It's something I won't forget for a while,
I'm
or
sure.
my animals for that fact.
Right.
All right, so tell me, what drew you both to this film?
Well, when I first read it, was so impressed by the element of um, the big question of, is this demonic possession or is this a psychological problem? And I love how it kind of carried out throughout the film. And I feel like usually typical horror films are just pretty straight to the point. They want to do the jump scares and all of that. But I really was just drawn to Emma and her story and her vulnerability and just this woman who's suffering and above all else. So I think that was very enticing for me. And when I read it, I was like, I have to play her. I want to dive deep into this. I want to, you know, really go into the question of, is this real or is this not? And I think that was kind of the goal as well. And I know David can speak on that, but that's what drew me to it.
Yeah, that was one of the really fascinating aspects for me as well. Just coming, I didn't grow up as a Catholic. I grew up in a Jewish household. Actually, I was bar mitzvahed, and I come from a little bit more of a scientific background. I've worked with people with mental health challenges, psychiatric challenges, and so it was a really important question to address in the film in a way that was respectful and uh, uh, we didn't want to make it generic or over the top or cynical. We wanted to make it sincere and we wanted to make it respectful, no matter if people walk away from the film believing that it was a psychiatric issue or
Right.
people walk away from the film believing that it was something that there was something else at play. And the other thing that really attracted me to the subject matter was that this is a story that at its heart is about a really vulnerable woman and a group of people who come together to try to help to try to alleviate her suffering, and in the process they put themselves at great physical risk, at emotional risk, at spiritual risk.
Yeah.
And Abigail, when you're playing Emma, what was the most difficult part? Was it the kind of psychological or like the physical toll of the role itself? Because it gets pretty.
Yeah, I would say probably both, where just because we wanted to kind of teeter on the line of kind of what David was saying was, is this demonic possession or is this a psychiatric issue? And then also finding moments where Emma is lucid and just vulnerable. So that was definitely, it was a challenge, but it was a great one where, I feel so fortunate. We had so much time to really discuss prior, and having David to really bounce ideas off of learn from and talk to, and as well as Al. I think that was really helpful. But yeah, I would say both were definitely a challenge to say the least.
And when you're going into this, it definitely had a particular look to this movie. It was kind of dark and grimy, but not like usual supernatural horror films are. It still had that clean line to it that, almost like a line between purity and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time sort of, I had a lot of conversations with our cinematographer and our colorist and our visual effects artist, as well as like the production designers and the art directors and those kinds of crew members to really make sure that we were striking the right balance. Obviously, this is a period piece. The real events took place in 1928 in a small town in Iowa. Um, so we kind of the final look for the film almost, the look that I feel like we almost went for was like almost like a period documentary. The cameras are all handheld, so you're watching these events play out. The camera is reacting to those events in real time. And we tried to kind of make it look like it wasn't, we didn't want it to look like a modern day film. We gave the film a little bit of grain. We made it a little bit darker, like it was maybe used. We maybe used a camera that was from that time period, those kinds of things. So we spent a lot of time really kind of refining the final look of the film.
All right. So, is there like a moment in the film, or while making it, or watching it afterwards, that really got to y'all, that really made you feel something?
Uh, I mean, for me, there's so many. Um, there
I'm
are
like, which one?
yeah. There are so many. There's a moment. There are moments I think in each one of the exorcisms that really kind of make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Where and part of it is remembering how we shot it and the intensity of that day, but just really so many moments where I'm blown away by the performances that we got. And obviously on the top of that list is Abby's performance. She's not only playing lucid, vulnerable Emma, she's playing all of these different manifestations. She's playing the transitions between the manifestations and lucid Emma. So I think that there are several moments that I just watch in the film and I'm like, wow, we just were so fortunate that we had actors like Abby and Dan Stevens and Al Pacino and Patricia Heaton and Patrick Fabian and everyone that we had in the film. Really, really, uh, we were very lucky.
It's very kind. I would say, yeah, kind of going off of what you said, I think kind of all of the exorcisms of look and remembering how we shot it and what we went through to really block it and be very detail oriented and very specific on how we wanted it to come across. Just remembering, I think while watching it, remembering the filming process and seeing that we kind of pulled it off. and,
Yeah.
and especially if you could just zoom out and see what we were doing prior to, with all the blocking and all of the rehearsal. I think that's like it's a cool thing to see. It's like, wow, our hard work kind of paid off.
Well, I enjoyed it, even though I had to pick myself up off the floor to do it. But it was really a good film, and I love that there's so many people, and that play off each other so well. And I think it's a great film that it walked that line between realism and horror, which of course can be found in reality, especially
Yeah.
for the woman who actually experienced all this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that was
That's-
that was the sorry, David.
No, I think we were going to say the same thing that was.
We're like speaking in unison. Yeah, I think that was the goal. I think that's what we really were hoping for, where we don't want this stereotypical horror film, which are always fun, but this is a woman's true story. This woman went through this. This woman endured a lot in her lifetime, and we didn't want to do her a disservice, you know, by not portraying what she went through. So I think that was a huge goal of and from what David and I talked about while we were prepping, just a huge goal of ours to make sure that we get that across and we keep that in there, you know.
Absolutely.
If it was, real hard for her or real on the screen, it plays out very well. And the cast was amazing. Y'all did an amazing job.
Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate that.
you. We were very, there are lots of blood, sweat, and tears from
Yeah.
cast, from the crew, everybody.
Oh, I'm sure. But it all ended up really well. And, thank y'all so much for taking the time to talk with me. And I can't wait to see what everybody says.
Thank you so